Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Chag Sameach. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to everyone. Yes, it is Hanukkah. So excited for that. This is a very special season. A season of miracles. And definitely it's a season of miracles for me, for sure. As I remember, 9 years ago, well, how can I say this without giving out too much information? I'll just say that I was very young, and I had a major surgery on my back, and many of you actually who have heard me share in person, you know my testimony, and this is part of my testimony, is that surgery that I had. And it was during the time of Hanukkah, and this was a 9-hour surgery for scoliosis, and to straighten my spine, because my spine was one of the well, I don't know if it was the worst, but it was very bad case of scoliosis. Which, you know, again, it's, if you haven't heard of it, it is, if your spine is normally supposed to be straight up and down, and mine was like an S shape. Anyways, well, it was a difficult decision to decide to have surgery, because I believed that God could make a healing take place, and I was mad at God, really, for not healing me. And the only option was to have the surgery or not. If I didn't have the surgery, I would have probably inner organs that would eventually be crushed or squashed from the movement, the continual moving of my spine, as it would continue to move. And yeah, so I prayed. I remember reading Job a lot, actually, story of Job, trying to make sense of it all, and just pouring my heart out to HShem. But made the decision to have the surgery, and there's just a lot of amazing things happened before and after the surgery. I remember being outside, and this is something I usually don't get a chance to share, but I remember being outside one day before the surgery, and there were these leaves on a tree. I mean, it was, December, and these, I believe it was December when the incident with the tree, but the leaves were just falling from this tree, and there was no wind at all, and it was just magnificent, and I knew that God's presence was there. It was like a reminder that I wasn't alone. But mind you, I was not happy. I was mad that God had not brought this miracle I was praying for my spine to just be straight. But when the day came for the surgery, driving on the way to the hospital, it was like I just realized that I didn't have anybody else who was going to go with me into the surgery. You know, of course, family, friends would be there to comfort me, you know, preparing and after the fact. But no one, you know, in a spiritual sense, no one was going to be with me in the surgery except for God Himself. And so it's like God and we came to this peaceful moment, this peaceful time, and I held on to, I had a picture of my horse, my white horse, HShem, in my hands on the way to the hospital, and I hoped to ride again. You know, I didn't know what was going to happen. I'd been told that, you know, because every case is different, there's always a risk of not being able to walk or run or do things normally again. So another thing, of course, was I thought of my singing and playing the harp and dancing, and I wanted to do those things again, and I didn't know if I would be able to after the surgery. So there was a lot on the heart and mind, but again, this peace came, and I went into the surgery. I said this earlier. It was 9-hour surgery. Came out from the surgery, and I well, I won't share all the details because it's long, but I'll just say that I was there at the hospital, trying to recover, and the third night in the hospital, there were complications. It's all a blur, so to this day I still don't really know what happened, but I did know this much, that my heart rate was accelerating and it was not slowing down, and I came to the understanding that I was going to die. And with that understanding, it's like just life was flashing before my eyes, but this peace came upon me. I remember there being doctors and nurses and people swarming around me, and things just going crazy, but I myself just feeling this peace, and the peace really increased even more so when, I know that in my heart, that ever so clearly, God spoke to me and said, He said, I'm not done with you yet. There's so much work I have left for you to do. And it was like in love, but it was also in this strong authority, like, why are you worrying, why would even let it cross your mind? And sure enough, I don't remember how long it was before, but it's not like I had that much time to begin with, but my heart rate started to go back to normal. And it was truly a miracle. Keep in mind, this is during the time of Hanukkah. Amazing. Third night too, interesting to me. And there were a lot of people praying for me. But so I was there in the hospital for a total of 8 days, just like Hanukkah's for 8 days. And I was recovering, and on the 8th day in the hospital, I rededicated my life to HShem, to Y-shua, and I wanted everything, music, whatever it is that I did, I wanted it to be for Abba, for the King. And so it was very special because, of course, Hanukkah, for those of you that don't know, it is the feast of dedication. This video is about this Hanukkah story, but that Hanukkah story, the Hanukkah story itself, the story, I highly encourage you to look it up if you haven't already, about the Maccabees. It's awesome. But yeah, so on the 8th day, even though I already was loving, of course, the Lord and was walking with Him, this was like huge for me because God had brought me through this, and I was going home on the 8th day from leaving the hospital, and I had made it through. And of course, it was the beginning of a process to recovery. And what God showed me was that, yeah, He didn't heal me the way I wanted, with just healing without having to go through the surgery. But His way is so much better. If I hadn't had the surgery, my relationship with God would not have been the way it is. And I am so thankful for that. I'm so thankful he had me go through that. It's just wonderful. So I am a walking miracle. I mean, I walk, I dance. Of course, you've seen me. I play the harp. I do ride. That same horse I have was the inspiration for me. 4 months after the surgery, I went and I got and rode my horse bareback. With keep in mind, I have 2 metal rods screwed into my spine, and life is beautiful. I don't suffer from pain. There are days where I'll have maybe some stiffness or soreness, usually because the day before I felt so good that I've forgotten and lifted up something I shouldn't have lifted up, something very heavy. So I do have to be careful for what I lift, but I mean, I'm doing really well, and God has really blessed me as a result of the fact that I have wanted to use what He's blessed me with, to bless Him, to bless His people. And yeah, that's my Hanukkah story. Oh, but also, this is important too. Before I went into the surgery, God had given me the scripture, revealed to me the scripture from 1 Peter 4:1-2. I didn't look it up, so I'm gonna put it probably in the description box below. So definitely read it if you are preparing for something like a surgery, or you know someone else who is. Yeah. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Rejoice in every breath that you have. This is truly a season to be thankful and to turn our eyes to HShem, to glorify Him, to look at who the true light is, light of the world, and to be a light to the world. Amen. Amen. Shalom, shalom. Again, happy Hanukkah. Shalom.